Good. I didn't give up on them, Boyd,
Mhm.
to get them the right capital and the right funding so they could scale and meet this huge contract for the
Yeah.
next 5 years, right? But it,
Yeah.
it takes that. It takes someone who can trust, who you can trust, who has belief in you. It says, man, I'm not going to give up on you. We're going to find it. This woman had gone to Singapore, Boyd, spent 3 months in Singapore trying to find the money. There's a lot of money in Singapore. So she's very savvy that she went to Singapore. And she did get 20 million from Singapore investors to duplicate her model, but in Asia. So she was in a tough spot. She's like, okay, I have the money to duplicate the stuff in Asia
Uh-huh.
and do my cacao in Asia, but what about the servicing the client I need now? So it's always a challenge. People are going to ask, well, by the way, when you're getting ready to scale, they're going to ask equity. But you can't be afraid of equity. And there's another thing. I was at another convention this week. It's what is your exit strategy, right? That's part of the money mindset.
Yeah.
Right? We're all Latinos, we're all immigrants. We all think, oh, this is our baby, my company's our baby. No, it's not. You think your kid is going to inherit it? Likely not. Likely you're going to die and the kid's going to sell off the company, right?
Yeah.
So why not have an exit strategy? Start with that, right? If you know
Yeah.
you have a strong business, what is your exit strategy, right?
Exactly.
Be savvy enough to understand that this isn't your baby. It's your point. Yes, it's your baby in the sense that you're going to sell it off. Right, but you can't get too emotionally attached. You're gonna bleed. There's gonna be blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, but the end game, the big win for Boyd, Dr. Harrow, Carol, and myself is getting you to sell that company, right, and exit it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't talk about this stuff, man. Man, you guys are getting next level stuff with all of us.
Yes.
I know. This is like some
Absolutely.
Yeah.
exclusive access stuff. Excellent. Good. Awesome. All right. I'm gonna ask you, just keep it short and sweet. In 30 seconds, Kirk, you have the mic already. Any final thoughts for anyone in this room?
Final thoughts are lean into the people who are on this call today, right? Dr. Hyro vetted. And a lot of people don't talk about this stuff. That's the reason you guys are getting next level stuff. They're not just anyone with all of us.
Yeah.
Right? Look at the heart that
Absolutely.
Boyd
Yeah.
showed,
Exclusive
just
access
telling
stuff.
you that
Excellent.
story,
Good.
right?
Awesome.
There
All
are
right.
money people with heart. It's your job to
I'm
find
gonna
them,
ask you, just keep it short
your
and sweet.
job
In 30
to
seconds,
lean in on them.
Kirk,
What
you
are
have
you
the
going to
mic
do
already.
with all this
Any
knowledge and
final
all these
thoughts for anyone in
relationships
this
you
room?
had today, right? Final thoughts are lean into the people who are on this call. It's going to be through Dr. Hyro. Dr. Hyro vetted. And a lot of people don't talk about this. That's the reason you guys are by the way, congratulations, Dr. Hyro. Thank you for having us all. And
Yes.
this is really
Yeah, for real.
incredible, right? He did this all on his own. I do this, but for large organizations like the National Minority Supplier Development Council, National Association of Black Women in Construction, and there are these huge organizations that tap into thousands of people, and then maybe a handful of people show up for these webinars. Dr. Hyro did this on his own. So mad props, tip of the cap, eres el duro, and it shows that he's the guy. So wake up call to you guys. What are you going to do? When I do this, but for large organizations like the National Minority Supplier Development Council, National Association of Black Women in Construction, and there are these huge organizations that tap into thousands of people, and then maybe a handful of people show up for your webinars. One thing Dr. Hyro did this on his own. So mad props, tip of the cap, understand that your number one asset is what? You.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, you're your number one asset. Make sure you protect that asset. Make sure you have the right life insurance for you, your family. If you have a partner, get a key man policy. That's a policy for your partner. You can leverage those life. Again, everything's a life
That's
insurance.
actually, ironically, that's actually my July account.
Everything's a financial product, right? I just told you we have clients who collateralize life insurance policies to get SBA loans. Yes, we write SBA loans at Brickell Capital Finance as well. We pre-underwrite them, and you can get creative when you have the right life insurance, those right policies. This is how the ultra rich get rich, right? Bank of America is the number one investor in life insurance. They take our deposits and invest it in life insurance. And it's the whole money racket, right? But once you realize how all the money game is played, you can start playing it. And I'll shut up.
That was 30 seconds, but it's okay. I like it.
But
Still
most
a
of it was
gems.
giving you props.
No, you're right. No, thank you.
Props.
That's why I gave you a little leeway. Boyd and Carol, final thoughts. 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Yes. A no from the bank is not the end of the road. Do not give up, please. There are options. We want you to think that you always need to optimize your funding options, doing the right thing while we taught you today. If you get all of those, put it in practice, you're going to make it. And great credits, yes, get you in the door, but a good strategy and a good structure is what determine how much you walk out with.
Yeah.
So
Thank
keep
you. Thank
things
you
in
so much.
mind.
Love it, love it, love
I
it.
second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to add. No.
I
And
love
listen, realize this, a good banker, if you have a good banker, do you have a relationship with your banker right now? That's where it starts. Where do you have
Yes.
your
Those are
money right now?
rare. Those are
You
rare
have a
to have a real
relationship
good
with
one.
that person.
Yeah.
Can you call that person and say, hey, I need this money? And if they're a good banker, test them. They're going to connect you to people like Boyd. They're going to
That's
connect
the
you to people
question.
like me. They're going to connect you to people like Dr. Jairo. They're going to care because these are not their financial products, but you're their client, right? Demand help.
Mhm.
All right, I gotta get to the Q&A. We have about a few minutes. This is from James. Is there a structured way to paying yourself back effectively? I think this was towards Kirk, what he was talking about before.
The
Well, yes,
401k.
the strategy is talking to your, sorry, I'm getting a lot of birthday calls from Venezuela. The strategy is whoever you have your 401k with, right? Your agent, whatever, is having that conversation with them, right? I have partners that can help you roll it over if you want, let me know, but have a conversation with them. They're your money people. Start with that conversation and tell them, hey, I want to roll it over and I want to lend to money, right? Lend myself the
Mhm.
money. The strategy is you got to pay yourself back in 3 months. That's the only strategy. You got to make sure to pay that money back, communicate to them, say, hey, when is the date, exact date? When can we get it back in there? And how do I work with you to do that? Right? Again, you're not going to do it on your own. Just completely independently. You have to, again, relationships, lean into that relationship with your money people. And communicate that to them that this is the strategy you want, right? Don't just say, hey, I'm pulling money out of my 401k, I want to roll it. No, talk to them about that strategy. Hey, I have this specific strategy, right? I know it, other people are doing it, I want to do it too.
Like it, love it, love it. IRA strategy. I have something similar that I discussed that you could roll it into self-directed or solo, but in real estate. So you and I are connected when it comes to that. So, where can we find the ebook? It looks like you answered that, right, Carol?
We did. We posted our yeah, and we're on LinkedIn. I mean, find us and just tell us you want the book.
YouTube.
We'll send you the book.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Let's see. Are there any other questions? You guys have any other questions? Give these guys a fire emoji. This was fantastic. This was awesome. I love this. Did you guys like it? You guys have fun?
Listen, is this the best money
I
talk you
loved
guys
it.
have ever had? This is,
I
and
think
with
so.
Boyd and Carol, you got the like the four of us, literally the
Yeah,
best money talk I've ever had.
this was
Thank you.
great.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
really good.
And
Yeah,
this is
this is great.
what is it? The first Latino on ESPN, right?
First Latino in English
In
in the
English.
history of ESPN.
There you go.
So
In
this was
English. Got it.
way back in 2003,
That's right.
Dr.
That's
Jairo.
right.
Way back.
Love it. You're getting a
Love
lot
it.
of fire emojis. That's good.
Thank
Awesome.
you, thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
But
Good.
here I
Good.
am being that same person, right? Repping the Latino,
Yep.
caring about the Latino. Once you're that person, once Boyd, Carol, and Dr. Jairo, we're cut from the same cloth. We're all wired the same way, right? Which is why it's incredible. And that's why I'm here to open your eyes as to the quality of people that you've been surrounded with, right?
Mm.
It is a blessing to be here today with
Yes.
these three folks, right? Usually I'm the only one with heart on these calls. And everyone else is a cold banker who's got no heart and no vision and no desire and no passion. So it's great that I have a saying, energy is the new currency, right? And these people's energy, wow,
Nice.
they've 10x'd my energy. So thank you so much, Boyd, Carol, Dr. Jairo, incredible.
Back
Thank
at you.
you.
Thank you, Kirk, very
And
much.
I tell Boy always, he's 51% Latino, okay?
Hey, look at that. Look at it. It's love. It's love.
I'm trying. I love it.
I love
Trying to
it.
get there.
Awesome.
100%.
He's Latino adjacent.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. I love it. Any other questions before I let him go?
Now's your chance.
Now's your
If you have
chance.
a financial situation that you need help, these are the people to talk to about it. Be transparent. Yeah, and that's one thing, right? It starts with transparency. I learned this
Yes.
my
Gotta
time in
be
New
transparent.
York, and this is one thing that our people don't do, right? And I saw this. My mindset mentor is a top 10 agent all time in the history of Northwestern Mutual, 136-year history. I've had this conversation with him. I'm like, man, Jewish people are so incredible. My years in New York, his relationships that I've had, that I've seen. Within 5 minutes, a Jewish person will ask you what you do, who's your banker, and how much interest you're paying, right? And they'll go, oh, wow, that's great interest. Can you introduce me to your banker? Right?
Yeah.
Again, it's very open, transparent. Why aren't we doing these things,
Mhm.
Boyd, Carol, and Dr. Jairo? Why haven't we connected to that money mindset, right? It's being open, honest, and transparent. We tend to think, oh, I don't want anyone to know I'm paying this much interest. Guess what? Then they're not going to connect you to someone who's paying lower interest.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Guys, that what I tell all our immigrants, we have to unlearn what we learned back in our and relearn
Yeah.
because here is different. The credit system is different, the financial system is different, and we need to set our minds to that.
Love it. Love it. Good. I don't see any questions. So,
No
Kurt,
questions, huh?
Boyd, Carol, thank you so much. Fantastic panel. I really appreciate you
Let's
guys.
do it again.
Thank you. Anytime, anytime.
Listen, Dr. Heyer, I know it's early, but best panel of the day. I mean,
Best panel of the day.
we set the standard high,
That's
right?
right.
We kept the people awake.
You did.
Well, enjoy your
We were
birthday.
up, we got the juices flowing, we got the fire flowing.
Fire flow,
La
candela.
bilirubina subió, the blood.
Yep. Thank you guys. Thank you once again.
All right.
Give them a round of applause or reaction in the chat. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt.
And we
And
need
once
to
again,
connect,
happy
Kirk.
birthday.
We're
We
gonna
will.
DM you.
We're gonna
Love
connect.
it. Done.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. All right.
And Dr.
Cool.
Jairo, I mean, I'm
Thank you.
blessed to have met you, and
Yeah.
Dr. Val as well.
Yeah.
It's really incredible, beautiful people doing things from the heart. You do things from the heart, no por el oficio, pero del corazón, desde el alma, from the heart and the soul.
Thank you, man. Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right, you guys are officially
Thank
on
you.
the hot seat.
All right.
More than happy to stick around with it. I think you should. So awesome. I'm gonna shake around the agenda a little bit. I would love one more presenter before a short break. Robert, you think you're ready now? Robert Farah? Oh, you're unmuted. You're muted.
I'm always ready, Bobby.
Always ready. I love it. All right, I'm gonna add you as a spotlight, and I'm going to share your screen. Introduce yourself in the meantime. So thank you so much. So far so good, right? You guys liking it so far? Yeah. Robert, so far so good?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Excellent.
nice. Very nice.
Okay.
A lot of energy.
Yeah, for sure.
You,
All right,
you-
cool.
you hear me well? You can hear me well?
Yes, I can.
All right, good.
I
All
want to
right.
make sure that
All right, so
I want to make sure I have your presentation up. Sorry, man. Go ahead. Just introduce yourself in the meantime.
So- yeah, all right. So my name is Robert Ferra. I was born in Uruguay, came to America in 1980 and naturalized American in 85. Never went back. I love this country, and I've been in the business of lending since 1991. Most of my career has been residential lending. I'd also opened up a platform in 2010 for commercial lending. As a residential lender, I closed in 1 year 885 loans. There's no Latinos that ever done my number. I closed $114 million of residential deals. As a commercial lender, I closed on 2019 the biggest USDA SBA combined loan for $15 million. I got recognition for both those things, so I'm very proud of. I can underwrite pretty much any solution out there.
Love it.
I have a platform of about 250 private lenders, but I'm also an investor in real estate. And today I'm going to tell you exactly how I invest. It's not going to be, these are the things that you should think about. I'm going to tell you what I do, how I do it. And, this is stuff that I do every single day, right? I invest like a bank. There's only one entity that never loses money. There's only one investor that never loses money. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Banks.
Yep.
Banks never
Robert,
lose
I'm gonna
money.
pause you for a second before I'm gonna set the stage real quick. Sorry, man.
Go ahead, brother.
No, all good. So the reason why I set it up this way was I wanted Sandra to talk about promoting yourself, marketing yourself, right? When it comes to access money or raising money. Then I had the panel to kind of give you the perspective, like they said, as far as access to money and making sure you have your infrastructure in order, right? And then now I switched up the agenda because one perspective is yes, traditionally through whether it's term loan, whether it's a personal loan, whatever, right? Accessing that money. But now I'm shifting gears, and that's why I brought in Robert first to kind of discuss the other side, right? When it comes to investing like a bank, right? And this could work. I mean, he's talking about real estate, but it could work kind of for almost any asset class, right? When it comes to that, right? So with that being said, I wanted to bring Robert to the forefront, and then we'll have a very short bio break, and then Randy will come in, and between her and I, we'll be leading up to lunch. Then we're gonna have you guys working. So sorry, go ahead. I wanted to explain that.
Thank,
The floor is yours.
thank you so much. Now I know why I'm here.
Yeah. Yes.
All
Go
right, I
ahead.
love it. Yeah, so yeah, it's perfect. I mean, you want to invest, you're gonna need money. Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I do every single day. My thought process, my everything, right, starts with I have to obtain this type of solutions and invest this way. So I invest in a bank by investing in debt. Most people invest in assets, but debt is an asset, and debt are promissory notes. So what I do is I create promissory notes, I attach them to a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on which state I'm investing, right? And I record that. So now, as a bank, I create very passive income, and I don't have to worry about the normal stuff that real estate investors worry about. Banks don't care what you do with your house. They want to make sure that you pay them back. So by investing as a bank, I collect interest payments. I collect interest payments, and I generate the terms, and I create everything that is beneficial to me, where I have the best results and the best solutions. At the same time, by helping people out. So when people are going to borrow money, they borrow money for three reasons mainly, right? They borrow money because they want to start something new. All right, they want to buy a new business, a new house, something along those lines. Or they want to borrow money because they want to grow what they have, right? So those type of loans do not, they're more conservative, right? But when people are in trouble and they need to borrow money, that is when you have the best possible ways to make more money by lending to these folks, right? So the behavior equals terms and cost and rates and stipulations and so on and so forth, right? The better you behave, the better, they're going to have all the best possible things. But if you don't behave very well, right, or have something that went into your life that, puts you in a bad spot, and then you are on desperation mode, right, then you're going to need to borrow at a tougher, more risky ways, right? So therefore, if you lend to them, you have, more aggressive, more beneficial ways to collect money and make more money by doing so. Now, go to the next. I need to do this. Let me see, brother. All right. So now, every investment in real estate, every opportunity in real estate starts with a homeowner, right? If you're going to buy a house and you're going to buy a house, to invest, and the homeowner does not have a need to sell, you're going to be competing with, the open market, and you're probably going to pay, the top dollar, or you're probably going to pay above that, right? But the key to invest in real estate, to invest in anything, is to find motivated sellers, motivated homeowners. Right now in America, there's about 45,000 people this month that are facing foreclosure. Last year, it averaged about 35. Don't take my word. Google, or there's a website. Let me see if I can let me see something real quick. Let me see if I can share that with you guys. Give me 1 second. So you don't say that I'm making stuff up, right? Which I probably am, but Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this for you. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize for not talking right now.
You good, man? No problem.
All right. So the website is ATTOM, right? ATTOM. It's a database company, and what they do is they share, what's going on, who's buying what and who's selling what and things of that nature, right? There are about 45,000 people right now losing their houses. So the key here is to go and communicate directly to them. Ask them what happened to you. How can, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in your house or you want to sell your house? Most of these people, right? And let's think about what mortgages are about, right? A mortgage is a 30-year loan process. When you take out a mortgage, you're young, you're strong, you have energy, good jobs, you're in your 30s and so on and so forth, right? You have good credit, life is perfect. And you expect that to continue for the next 30 years. But during those 30 years, right? Now you're going to have people that are going to get sick. Companies are going to close down. You're going to lose your job. Like the pandemic, nobody was expecting that. The 9/11, 2008, right? All those variables that put you in a bad position that have nothing to do with the personal behavior. The behavior of the individual still good. It was a variable of life that put him in a bad position. So now they're going to tell you, I can no longer continue with this because, I had a good income, now I'm retiring or whatever the case is, right? Or I lost my job, but I not got a good job. So when those variables happen, right, the way that banks work is this. You can never be late on a mortgage payment. So if you don't pay 1 month, the following month, you cannot just pay 1 month and be back, be behind. You have to pay 2 months in one shot. Then the third month, 3 months in one shot. On the fourth month, they start foreclosure procedure, right? But when they start foreclosure procedure, they start adding attorney fees and late fees and court fees and legal fees and so on and so forth. So a $5,000, late payment fee could easily become a $20,000, right, reinstatement fee. So now you don't have the $20,000, but you know what? Now another month went by, another 1 month, before you know it, now you owe $30,000. So at that point, now you have your job back. Now you become a little bit strong again, and you cannot come up with the money. We'll reach out to them directly. We send them postcards and letters and voice messages, silent text messages, right? Or voice messages, emails, depending on the age, right? Like a 60-year-old person, 70-year-old person probably will react better to a letter than a 30-year-old person that may react better to technology, right? And they went and they come back and they call us and they say, you know what? I'm losing my house. I need help. At that point in time, it's like, all right, listen, I don't want to get into buy your house. You put the house on the market. I'm going to bid on with 40 other people, or I'm not going to be competing with. I'm going to give you a loan. I'm going to lend you this money. I'm going to lend you this money only to bring you current. Is this something that's going to help you? A motivated homeowner is going to say, help me out. If you lend me the money, you bring me current, and you help me buy the time that I need in order to fix my credit, be able to either sell the house under my own terms or refinance, whatever the case is, right? I can be happy again. Now I have the father's going to have that sense of pride in front of this family that did everything right and thought, to the last minute not to lose that house. So we send every month anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 letters. And the reason, because we do that and we don't send to like 4,000 people, now the cost will be astronomical, right? But we pick and choose the markets that we want to invest. First we started by the state, then we go by the county, then we go by the municipality, then we go by the zip code, and we select who we want to help. So there are states that are more beneficial than others when you want to invest in real estate. I'm not political. I'm going to share this right now, right? But typically, fix and flip or construction stuff, right, are better type of investments when it comes to democratic states. Rentals and debt are better when it comes to Republican states. Look back the last 80 years, and you're going to see this trends to be more truthful, right? The cost, the taxes, the insurance, the cash on cash numbers, all of those things, right, are going to reflect better. So we look for the states that have the best possible laws to invest in debt and invest in long term, right? Work directly with the homeowner eliminates paying anything extra. I never paid realtors. I never paid wholesalers, right? I work directly with the homeowner. By me doing so, every penny that it goes in there is going to be returned to me at its highest cost. So I'm going to have the best numbers by not paying anybody for being the person who knows the person. Key to real estate, guys, is finding motivated homeowners, right? Let's go to the next slide, Puppet. Now, I've been in lending since 1991. I know how to manage risk. If I buy a house right now, if I buy a house as an investment property, I create the equity with my down payment. If I lend money, like banks do, banks create equity with the money of the homeowner. The homeowner put a down payment, the homeowner's be making payments for 5, 6, 10, 20, 15, whatever the case is, right? So many years. The house was bought 20 years ago at one price. Inflation's been increasing the value of real estate, right? So now whenever I lend money about 65, max 70, depending on the exit strategy, right? And I'm going to explain that. So loan to value means that the difference between the money owed against the fair market value of that property, that will be the equity. So if you divide one into the other, that's the loan to value, right? I always want to have more than 30% of equity anytime I lend money. Anytime. If that person fails to pay me, what do? I will have the ability to do so many things with that equity, with that property. And by the way, I can still help that person because of all of that, Anyway, so now being a lender, being a bank, investing like a bank, I avoid all the traditional headaches of real estate ownership, right? I like to call it the 3 T's: tenants, toilets, and taxes. If you lend money to a homeowner, you don't have to worry about vacancy factors. You don't have to worry about a company collecting and rent and charging you for it, or qualifying tenants or nothing of that nature, right? The homeowner is gonna make sure that he keeps up, wants to stay there, wants to keep up the payments, wants to, they're gonna pay you directly, so you avoid all of those headaches that you when you have a tenant. I don't know how many folks in here have properties, right, and deal with tenants, but you know that tenants have personalities. Tenants, have, people are different. A tenant may want to have a pet. As a landlord, I may not want to have a pet. As a banker, I don't care what he has, right? As a tenant, as a landlord, I don't want people to smoke in the property. As a banker, I don't care if he smokes, right? So, that you avoid the tenant thing. I don't have to worry about repairs. If something happens, that the house still belongs to that homeowner. He has to keep up that asset, and he has to take care of any plumbing or electrical issues, or the gutters or the stove or the toilets. Anything that breaks is his responsibility. I'm still collecting. The banks collect money. I don't have to pay for any repairs on that house. I don't have to worry about the escrows. In Florida, a couple of years back, we had a few hurricanes, right? And the cost of homeowners insurance tripled. If you have a property that is and you calculate, like a cash on cash, or your net income after finance, or your cap rate, all those great math calculations that you need to do when you do invest in real estate, right? That will be very much affected if taxes go up or the insurance goes up. When you invest like a bank, that doesn't matter. It's your money against, it's a payment against the money you lend them at the terms that you agreed on, right? So this way you can always going to be able to predict, because you have a set way of the terms, the stipulations, the cost, all of that stuff, right? The rate from day one that is agreed on that promissory note. We charge about 18% interest only, anywhere from 18 to 24 months, in order for the homeowner to go and save his house. So now they have 18 to 24 months paying interest only. That way, even though the interest is high, being at interest only, what happens is that the payment becomes less, right? That the return is higher, but the payment becomes less, so it makes it easier on the homeowner, right? So if they have to fully amortize, then, and you do it for like 2 years and you lend them $40,000, it becomes too much, and they're not gonna be able to pay. Interest only not only makes me a lot of money, he still owes the same amount of money at the end of the maturity date, and yet I'll make the most money and make it simple for that person to make a payment. It's very predictable, so it's going to be the same thing, regardless whatever happens on that property, right? Now, the other thing is, because of all my knowledge, you're losing your house, I gave you money for you to reinstate it. Now you're paying a high interest rate, but I'm also interested that you are successful, because if you're successful, you'll return my money back. If you're not successful, I make a lot more money. But the goal is, if you are successful, right, you make my money back, right? And by the way, these notes I sell to investors. So an investor is going to get the 18%. So I want that investor to keep making money. So about 2 months after we close and we stop the foreclosure, I introduce them to credit restoration companies. I introduce them to mortgage companies, right? I introduce them to CPAs to fix their taxes and things of that nature, to show that the 5 C's, what we were talking about earlier, right? That your behavior will ensure future outcomes. And by doing so, you're going to be able to go back and, get a good loan later on and pay me back, right? So we help them with refinancing with an FHA, like forgivable loans, a VA, reverse mortgages. We just have a situation right now. I'm going to show this real quick. This lady has a $500,000 house paid in full. She's losing it because of taxes. She's losing it because she can't pay about $17,000 of taxes. This lady is very old. Her house is worth over $500,000 paid in full. How can she, be able to save her house? Is we lend them the money, but the way out is going to be a reverse mortgage, where she's going to still be able to keep the house, not make payments, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the reverse mortgage benefits, right? But it's a fantastic way for somebody like that not to be on the street when she has something that's worth so much money. And you may say, why doesn't she sell the house? Well, she has her reasons, right? Her brother's very ill, has a very, also like a slow child or something along those lines, right? So things of that nature are affecting people. They cannot just pick up and go because they have a house that is almost paid in full, and she's maybe able to lose everything. We gave her the money, save her house, and I'm working now with getting her into a better solution that is going to keep life very simple and make my 18%, make all my return on my money, and help her out at the same time, right? Sometimes the exit strategy is to sell the house, but the homeowner is going to sell it under their own terms, right? So what we do is we start looking into who do we know? Do we know realtors in the area? Does a realtor have a book of qualified buyers? Do I want to buy that house? Do I have, a mortgage company, a title company, things of that nature that is going to be able to find good ways for other investors, right? That they want to pick up that property. So there's so many ways that we can help a homeowner, right? This is why investing like a bank and the way that we underwrite all of this makes it very, very safe. And yet very high returns, control everything. Now, let's go to the next slide. So there's so many ways that we can help a homeowner, right? This is why investing like a bank.
I want to pause to see if there's any questions in the chat.
And the way that we underwrite all of this.
No question in the chat. I think everyone is just like still coming down from the but it's all good. No questions though. No, I have a question
wonderful.
For you, but at the end. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is how it works. We market to people. They call me directly. I start asking them questions, right? So I want to underwrite the deal and I want to vet the borrower. Is this circumstantial? Is this behavior? What happened? Are you back to being semi-strong? And with my money, are you going to be able to become fully strong again? So I underwrite the location. I underwrite the type of asset. To me, in banking, right? The most interesting asset is a single family home, followed by a 2-family, followed by a condo, then 4-family, then 3-family, then your mixed use and your single use properties and things of that nature, right? It's funny that way, but I underwrite everything. The homeowner sends me the application. We send them an application. Send me an application. I order title. I check the value. They send me their income information. I check the debt to income ratios. I make sure that this is going to be somebody that has everything in case of I lend them the money, that they're going to have the ability to pay it back. As a bank, that's the one thing that you want. right? So in about a day or two, after I get the application, I get all my documents, I do my due diligence, I go through my discovery process, right? I call the customer and say, listen, this is what I can do. I can send this money to the bank. I don't send the money to them. I send it to the bank. I send it to the HOA. I send it to the municipality, right? The homeowner does not get the money. It's going to be 18%. It's going to be for 24 months. It's going to be interest only. It's going to have 6 months of prepayment penalty, right? If you understand everything that I'm saying, you notice that as I'm helping that person, I am putting together a phenomenal investment solution as well for the investor, right? Then I go and I present this to investors. I said, listen, look at this house. This is the CLTV, right? Like 55. By the way, the average loan is 30,000 to 70,000 of everything I've done in about 2.5 years, right? And the average loan to value is about 55%. I am willing to go to 70, depending on the exit strategy, but a lot of these properties have an insane amount of equity. And they're all picked, like I said before, they all pick what states we like. We like Texas, we like Arizona, we like the Carolinas, we like Florida, we like the Midwest, Ohio, we like Tennessee, we like Colorado, we like Utah, right? All great states when it comes to this type of solution, right? And all of the states, the usury rates are based on the contract, on the agreed contract. So 18%, it may sound high, but it's what the state allows. So that's what we charge, right? So once the homeowner says, Robert, save my house, we start the paperwork. We present to the investors. The investor says, yes, I'm interested. The homeowner says, thank you, help me save my house. We present it to investors. The investor says, I'm interested. So both parties are happy. I start the paperwork, right? So I get my title company to put all the documents together, right? So typically it's a promissory note. We attach that either to a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on the state. All of that gets executed at closing. It's going to get recorded. Now, this is why I protect my investments. And this is why sometimes failure makes me more money. One of the things that they sign at closing is either a quitclaim deed or a warranty deed. So that's going to get executed. It's not going to get recorded. If they fail to pay 3 months in a row, instead of me starting the foreclosure procedure and paying all of that and going through all that nonsense, I record the warranty deed or the quitclaim deed or the deed in lieu, depending on how we put it together, right? And that house becomes my house. And now the homeowner becomes my tenant. And I do that at almost no cost to me. Who in here would like to take ownership and virtually pay nothing in transfer fees, down payment, closing fees, reserves, qualifications, everything that the average uninformed investor likes to do?
Caesar,
I'm gonna share this.
Hold on, before Caesar has his hand raised. Caesar, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, no, I just meant like I do. Like I want to.
Oh, like you understand. All right, like a reaction, not really a question. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
So yeah. So now everything is recorded. Now the borrower starts making interest payments according to the terms, right? I'm gonna share two things real quick. Two properties that I took possession, right? I'm gonna share that very quickly before we go into why you guys should invest with us. The homeowner, this is in Texas. This property is in Texas, right? The homeowner got divorced. very, very bad situation. The husband got very ill, and whatever the case is, and he did, a lot of the wrong things, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter, right? We saved them from losing their house. They pay perfectly for like about 6 months, and then they start making payments. The lady who now is that was living there, right? The previous homeowner, she is also a new grandma, and the baby lives there. And she says, Robert, I cannot make, both payments, the house and the note, but I don't have any place to live. So I said, let's do this. Deed the house to me. Give me your house. I'm going to keep you there as a tenant. I'm going to give you the first right of refusal with an option to buy. I'm going to give you a full year. You're going to buy it at the fair market value at that point in time. If within a year you don't buy a fair market value, then I sell it to the open market, or I do whatever I want, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy you an extra year for you to fix everything. Fix, your house situation and so on and so forth, right? That house has about $145,000 worth of equity. She's paying about $960. Between the first and the second is costing me about $200, because the both payments like close to $1,200, right? So every month I'm losing $300. But yet I picked up $145,000 worth of equity. Who will trade $200 a month for $150,000 worth of equity, $145,000 of equity? Raise your hand or thumbs up or whatever, right? I guess nobody will like. Okay, I was gonna say somebody's gotta like paying $200 to obtain $145,000.
Yeah, a couple of fire emojis.
Okay. Now, why I say invest in a bank? Because banks take ownership of properties, right? After the homeowner pay for the down payment, pay for the closing costs, maintain that house, right? If they pay on time, you are successful. If they don't pay, you are successful. Who knows any other investment where success and failure makes you money? This is how we do what we do, right? And we know how to underwrite. We know how to protect. The next. Now, if you say to yourself, I would love to invest like a bank, but I don't know, I don't know how to do this, right? Well, tell you what, simply buy, we present them, and simply you'll be able to buy these notes, right? And we put everything together. I've been doing this since 1991. It's more than 30 years. 2 weeks ago was my 60th birthday. I know I started out when I was 24. I've been doing this for a very long time. I know how banks think. I'm able to underwrite anything. I've done, what do you call this? I've done, I'm not, I don't want to take a cursed thunder because, today is his birthday, mine passed. So I've done a $10,000 loan. I've done a $50 million loan, and I've done, mass production, right? We are very strict on how to pick and do all the right math, the debt to income, the LTV, we lend money to the actual owner. We run title. We want to make sure that we are not on the third or fourth lien position. We always want to be on the first or second. We keep very close contact with the customers. We don't service, if you need somebody to service your loan, right? If you want to invest, I want to service your loan, we'll do it for a cost. But what we do is we keep the customer informed, as non-sophisticated, investors do not know how to behave like a bank. So we support them with the mortgage statements, with the late notifications, with the payoff letters, everything that is needed to be successful as a banker investor, right? We help the homeowner to try to get out and so on and so forth, right? We do all these things. We also partner up with Latin Loan Capital, which is also, my company, where we help with if the property that we invest in is an investment property or the transfer to an LLC or whatever the case is, we can do that. If it is a residential solution, we work very closely with Cross Country Mortgage and be able to, help them get out, right? I do about 8 to 12 of these solutions every month. I'm probably one of the biggest investors of this kind, and yet we're like super small. There's an insane amount of opportunities. Anybody that wants to invest, obtain an 18% return, have no worries on the sense of whether or not my numbers are going to be affected by vacancies and things of that nature, right? If you want, it's something something that wants to become a real estate investor. This is a couple of things I want to share. And outside of me investing, we also teach how to do this. I could have 500 people competing, and it will not affect me. I can teach an insane amount of people how to do what I do. And basically it's routines, it's process. We're putting courses together to do this. Teach people how to understand underwriting, understand direct marketing, understand the type of lending solution and the type of math that you need to know in order to be a very successful. I invest in these things without even looking at the houses. Most investors that are that sophisticated said, "Oh, I want a house that is close to me so I can control this and I can control that." I have properties in Virginia, in Texas, here in Florida. I forgot, like in a bunch of different states. I never met the homeowner. I never seen the house. If you take a mortgage with Bank of America, that's Bank of America, that's the owner of Bank of America, that's the CEO, that's the CFO, whoever goes to that house to see the house. He sends an appraisal, whatever the case, right? So all that information can also be obtained nowadays, right, through technology. It's hands down the best way to invest in real estate, because success makes you money, failure makes you money, right? And here's showing. Well, actually, we have pictures of the cities, right? In Detroit, I guess it was, and here in Miami. Loan to value, 38%. That means that has what? How much equity will that be? And the fair market value is $280,000, right? You have about $200,000 worth of equity. If that person fails to make a payment, fails to pay on your note, can you still make money with that investment? This is what I do. This is what I teach. This is my day-to-day. I'm not promoting anything that you can do this, you can do that. I promote exactly what I do day to day. And my company consists of 3 people. Then we outsource for, title company and things of that nature, right? And mailers and all of that stuff. We outsource all that. But it is hands down the best way to invest if you understand how bank invests and you do exactly the same thing as they do. And that is my presentation, guys.
Love it. Right on time. Because I was just saying 11:30. I was gonna kick you. So, it's perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any questions for Robert? This is fantastic. Tell us. So in lay terms, right? So basically, I'm gonna stop sharing. So when you're investing like the bank, it's basically similar to like pre-foreclosure, right? Where someone is, like you said, unfortunately can't make the payments, right? Or a little behind, and
Mhm.
then what you're doing is bailing them out, getting them up to speed, and then essentially having a second, like a promissory note, correct?
Yeah, we land on the reinstatement only,
Right.
right? Unless the first lien is very small, right? Or unless they have tax problems and the house is paid, or the HOA and the house is paid, right? Then we will land on that as well. But you don't have to invest in the whole, And by the way, if they fail to pay you, the money that you lend them also becomes your equity, right? So we are, hands down, it's going to be the smartest way to invest in real estate.
Love it. Love it. Good, good. This is fantastic. This is a nice contrast to what we were talking about earlier, which is like traditional lending. This is great. Great alternative to that. So, any questions for Robert before he's off the hot seat? That was my one question. And as I have people trickling in still, right? So, oh, you're LinkedIn, sir. If you could drop it in the chat. Or,
Robert Farah.
please, I'll do that. I can do
Keep,
that.
keep life simple, man. Robert Farah. I gotta share this with you. I'm always busy, therefore I'm always available. Right.
There you go.
So the best way is my phone, is my cell phone.
Right.
I am glad to do a gazillion one-on-ones with anybody, and then we're gonna. I travel across the country to teach Latinos how to invest, how to think like a bank, invest like a bank, and understand finance and understand lending, all of the stuff. We do that all the time.
Right.
So feel free to call me directly if you guys, I can write my number in there and.
Put your number there in. I just dropped your LinkedIn chat. That was good. That was awesome. That was a great, a different perspective, and that's why I switched up the agenda. I love it. Cool, man. Thank you,
Thank you,
Robert.
brother.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna take a very short break. Randy, tell us what's coming up next.
Absolutely. Robert is a tough act to follow, but we're going to do it anyway. Good morning, everyone. So we are going to be talking about AI next and how to leverage this technology to really 10x your productivity and also your deal flow. I'm going to be sharing a free 2026 AI guide and also talk to you a little bit about our AI for Entrepreneur Accelerator. So my recommendation is go take your quick break, but if you know anyone who needs to hear this conversation, make sure you share the registration link with them because the VIP codes are going to be for those that are in the room. So definitely looking forward to sharing this conversation with y'all.
Yeah, what should we give him? 5 minutes just to kind of stretch, or 10 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minute bio
5
break,
Yeah, 5 minutes.
stress, share the link, post.
There you go. So 5 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, just take what you got to do. Take right now. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 11:37. So good, excellent. Do you have screen share access in the meantime? Well,
Yes, I do. I'm ready to rock and roll.
there you go. Okay, cool. All right, you can just put it on the screen, and then we'll start in about 4 minutes. Good, good. How you liking it? How you guys liking it so far? Give me a little fire. Give me a reaction. You could give me a word. Give me something. Thumbs up. Thank you, Robert. Fantastic job, brother. No reaction? A couple of reactions. A couple of thumbs up. I love it. I love it. Sal's giving both the fire and the. I love it. Love it. Gems. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So we're warming you up, and the first, Sandra did a good job setting the tone as far as personal branding and marketing, and then we had a panel with high energy when it comes to access to capital, that when it comes to bootstrapping, especially, right? Your own capital for money, for personal and or business, right? And then Robert spoke about the other side of the coin when you're thinking like a bank and basically you being lending on notes on pre-foreclosure, just a different strategy than what you're used to hearing when it comes to what you normally hear, fix and flip or things of that nature, right? And then now Randy's going to help us leverage AI to raise and access money, right? And that'll lead up to me, which you guys are gonna, I have a hands-on exercise to right before lunch, and then after lunch, I have you guys, doing a couple things, and and that is the agenda. So pretty cool. So we're starting in about 3 minutes. So good. So far a lot of positive reinforcements, positive reactions. So we have people from Vegas, Randy, people from New York, New Jersey, people from Florida. I think I think internationally we had someone overseas as well. So good. Very good, diverse, international event today, right, Randy?
Yeah, we're going global. We are global.
That's right.
Amazing. I'm excited about this conversation.
Absolutely, 100%. Oh wow, he's from Jersey, but he's joining from Canada, from Montreal now. That's pretty cool. I've been to Toronto a few times. Love Toronto. Never been to Montreal.
Mm. Canada's amazing. The food over there is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, who has bacon as a default everywhere? Only
Yeah,
Canada.
exactly.
Only Canada.
Only Canada, right? Trying to join Seoul, New Jersey in the house. I know, I gotta check it out, Sal. I know. I gotta make it out. Good. Excellent. Different vibe, and we're stepping up more and more, right, Randy? From what you observed, right? It gets better and better and better.
Absolutely. These
Yeah,
speakers are incredible. I love the panel as well, very interactive.
yeah. People are calling me
Mhm.
for in person. It's a whole different animal, but we'll see. Because now you're talking logistics of the.
All right, we gotta take it IRL.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, another minute, and then you can go. 11:37, and I have my stuff ready to cook up, so I'm excited.
Very cool.
Mhm. All right, you can start. You can keep going.
Amazing. All righty. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, I'm going to be that annoying presenter that asks you if you are able, if you are, peinado and not laying in bed, to turn on your camera. It's always amazing as a facilitator to see some faces, reactions, and to have an engaging conversation, especially since this presentation is going to be interactive. I plan to show you all some demos so you can see how this thing works in action, and just to give you a vision of what's possible and what this technology is capable of doing for you and your business. And it's really not only about your business, it's also about yourself, right? One of the big things that I speak about as an entrepreneur is that this technology is giving us access to our most valuable asset, and that asset is our time. Time is the one resource that we cannot get back, that we cannot duplicate up until now with this technology. And so it definitely has a huge impact, both business and personal. So, welcome to our Leveraging AI to Access Capital presentation. My goal today is to go over a few really powerful tools that have transformed the way that we do business. But before we get started, what I would love to do is number one, I heard where everyone is joining us from, but I would love to hear what AI are you all using right now? What's your go-to LLM? Do you use ChatGPT? Do you use Gemini? What are we cooking with to get started? If you're using any other applications to help you with your business, would definitely love to see what we're working with, and what this way will give us a good idea of level setting and seeing where everyone's at so far. I'll pull up the chat so I can also take a look here while we're all entering these different. All right, we got a ChatGPT user here, Claude. Amazing ChatGPT, Claude. Turbo AI. Ooh, I would love to hear more about that, Caesar. Awesome. So yeah, share with us what you're using. It's a great opportunity for others also to learn about new tools and hear some unique use cases. So this is going to be interactive. So get ready to really work with us today. I'm gonna move this box over here so I can you all can see the presentation clearly. All right, so there are so many incredible opportunities with this technology. Most people are still utilizing these tools to refine a presentation or refine an email. But when it comes to raising capital, there are specific AI tools that can really 10x your productivity and 10x your lead sourcing. So hello, my name is Randy Gomez. I am an AI consultant and the founder of Sparks Labs. Sparks is an AI automation agency. So what we do is we work with entrepreneurs to either identify workflows that can help them with automating their processes or creating custom tools that are tailored to the goals that they're looking to accomplish with their business. If we can't automate it with what you currently have, we work with our engineers to create them and to ensure that you and your team are working efficiently. We are also launching our AI Accelerator program May 4th. And at the end of the presentation, Dr. Borgia definitely requested that we offer everyone here on the call a discount on the accelerator. So I'll go a little bit more into that as we go through the slides. So who have I worked with before? Just to give you a little background about my credentials. So at Sparks, we've partnered with organizations like MasterCard, Google. We have created impact programming on both a local and global scale with programming in France, Brussels. And we work with these organizations to do brand activations and also upskilling opportunities to bring their audience up to date with new emerging technology. We started with blockchain technology, and we've now also included our AI component to the work that we do with these brands. I'll also drop my LinkedIn link so we can connect and continue the conversation. So we're going to kick it right off because we only have a few minutes and I want to make sure that I go through as much as possible today. So one of the most powerful tools that I've worked with the entrepreneurs that we meet with is Notion. Okay, so what is Notion? Anyone know or heard of Notion before? Would love to hear from you. Why Notion? As an entrepreneur, it is extremely important for you to have one source of knowledge, one place where you and your teammates can access all of your company's information, your company's profile, and you can house all of this knowledge that you are downloading from your LLMs. Right? So for an investor, your Notion allows you to connect your CRM. You're able to check and also connect company sizes, memos from meetings, have an entire data room that you can share with potential investors. So you can essentially create a data room for each investor. You can duplicate these pages and have a more interactive approach and presentation with your investors. When you're working with investors, when you're working with potential clients, it's so important for you to stand out from the rest. While most of us are sending PDFs and PowerPoint presentations, imagine your investor having a completely digitalized experience when they're looking at all of these different deals that you're presenting to them. So, similar to what it is in marketing yourself, what the resources that you share with your potential clients need to represent your brand, right? So if you're saying that you're a future forward investor, you're a future forward, thinking person, your presentations and your assets should reflect that. So Notion is a great tool for this. We use Notion at Sparks. And Notion is really best for organizations that have 10 or less employees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to demo or show you what our Notion headquarter looks like. Can you all see this? I switched over to another tab. Harab, you can confirm for me. You see the Notion page?
Notion's page. Yep. Company home.
Amazing. All right, so this is our company headquarters. So what is it? It's practically the brain of our company. It is AI powered, so we're able to integrate information from our CRM. We're able to integrate information from our POS, and also include all of our products and services, partnerships, all of the information that we need to operate as a business. So I did mention earlier the opportunity of creating data pages within your Notion, right? So I'll give you an example. One of the we have pages where we house some of the workshops that we white label for other organizations. Let's see this right here. So this is one of them, right? An entire digital workbook that we house for the students that complete the AI Business Academy that we white label with an organization. So we created this entire 6-week program for this organization, and we built it out, week by week. They have access to the weekly projects. One of the things that the students requested as we were going all of the data was, okay, we would love to have a directory, one place where we can see all of the tools that are available and we can select from these tools. So we had already created the weekly projects. Now we needed to create a directory. Rather than manually creating this directory one at a time, we worked with the AI plug within Notion to scan the 6-week curriculum and create this database. We asked it to look for the official website, to include if it's a free tier, also include, YouTube videos so the students can learn, and the best use case for these tools, right? So now the students have a directory that they can navigate and explore different applications based on the use case that they want. So why is this relevant for you? Because you have access to create these data rooms by simply prompting your AI plug what exactly it is that you're looking to create, uploading the PDF or the presentation that you're working with, and creating a beautifully presentable interactive page for your client that you can custom to their brand, their needs, and you can update in accordance to receiving new information or new deals. So the client always has one page that they can go into and see what's new. You can notify them, hey, I just added another potential investment opportunity, and you can set it up beautifully with pictures, videos, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a really powerful tool, not only to be the brain of your business, but also to engage with clients in a more professional, interactive way. I'm curious to hear what you all are using now when you're presenting these deals to your clients. And I'll open up the chat so I can see some responses. All right, so we have some folks that have heard of it. Awesome. Canva. We're using Canva presentations, Hyro.
It's all right. I graduated from PowerPoint to Canva. So.
All right, baby steps. We're getting there. We are getting there. That's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to hear what everyone else is using. You could drop it in the chat when you get a chance. And then just think about your notes, your meeting notes. Most of us are meeting virtually with clients. So being able to house all of your meeting notes in one place. So again, it's learning from all these conversations. And when you're referencing a meeting, you can create whether it's a checklist or a new presentation to share with your client. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. And if you have any questions, definitely pop them in the chat. I want to make sure that we get to questions as we go through the different demos. So the next tool that I would love to share, and Hyro and I were having a conversation about this earlier because he uses a similar tool called Apollo to search for leads. As a business owner, when you're getting ready to launch a product and you're developing your go-to-market strategy, leads, that is the biggest pain point. Who am I going to sell to? Right? I have this incredible opportunity. How do I find investors that qualify? So that's where Clay comes in. Up until not too long ago, a few years ago, large companies had access to huge data sets of potential customer information, where the average user like yourself, myself, did not have access to customer information. Now we're able to actually run lists, qualified lists, depending on who our ideal client is, download those lists with very specific information like email, LinkedIn profile, company size, the last check that the company wrote to invest. So you can really take a deep dive to see who is your ideal customer and introduce yourself to that potential client. The difference between, a tool like Clay and other tools, and I'm going to go ahead and demo this tool for you all, is that it has enriched data. Okay, what does that mean? What it means is that it is constantly scanning LinkedIn pages and different databases to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information. So if that person's email changes, your list also changes. That enriched data saves hours and hours of time. Okay, think about what you're using, right? What you're using your virtual assistant for, your executive assistant for, to create these lists, to scan LinkedIn, right? To get these new leads into your system. So Clay is similar to Apollo. I personally prefer Clay, Pyro. I love the founder story. He's a really cool guy. So Clay gives you the opportunity to interact with it with natural language. Right here is a box where you can literally text with it and explain what your goal is, right? You're looking for investors. I pre-populated a list just to give you guys an idea of what the list looked like. But as you can see here, you have the opportunity to create a campaign. So you can now email these individuals and work up, the lead, nurture the lead. And you also have within the list, as I mentioned before, you're able to have it custom made, so it pulls the data that you're specifically looking for. So in our case, for our AI for Entrepreneurs Accelerator, we wanted to know, right, where does this person work? We wanted to definitely connect with their LinkedIn profile. And then, like I mentioned before, right here, you have the opportunity where it says, the accuracy level of the list. So you know how accurate the information is. With Clay, it does have a free tier that you can simply upgrade based on your company's needs. So you can try it out with one free list before you commit to purchasing the monthly subscription. Is Clay an investment? Absolutely. I think the lowest tier starts at about $69 a month, but it is absolutely priceless, because you're taking 20 plus hours of work a week in digging deep into LinkedIn and all of these different platforms to find leads, where Clay is just automatically building these lists for you. So now instead of finding the people, you're connecting with them and developing a lead funnel to really start developing, nurturing these leads to get to the closing line.
You said Clay was a 69 minimum a month? Around there?
Yes, last time we checked, that was the minimum investment, monthly investment. Is Apollo more expensive?
I run the same.
Pyro.
I run the same. Sorry about
Yeah,
that. I run the same. Six or
yeah, it's around the same investment, yeah. And they do the same thing, That's why we say there's no such thing as, oh, someone already created this, this company or this tool. There's enough in the market to have multiple options. You do have the opportunity, as you can see, to import from your CRM. So if you're missing a whole bunch of data points in your CRM contacts, you can import that. You can import a CSV file. Again, so you can, if you only have names and emails, you can import and have Clay work in the background to extract additional information about this potential client. All right. Would love to have a temperature check. How are we feeling right now? How are these tools? Are amazing. Thank you, Salvador. All right, listen, the entire purpose of this is how do we work smarter, right? Like we all have the same 24 hours. How are you doing more than me when we got the same 24 hours? We got to have these tools work while we sleep, right? So, ensuring that you're setting yourself up for success. So the average list pulls 100 qualified leads for investors, 100. And again, you're able to set up exactly what the profile that you're looking for is before you interact with your list. So hours of time freed up. So I know I saw you guys all mention that you're using different LLMs. And I will say when we are, instructing entrepreneurs on how to build their AI powered technology stack, we always kick off with the LLM because that is truly the foundation of setting yourself up for success. What is an LLM? A large language model. So there's a few of them out there: ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. Claude is really popular right now. It has a really great user interface. But are you really using it to the best of its ability? That is the question. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because for those of you that are using, AI to engage with your clients, how many of you have already created a custom AI agent within your large language model? Custom GPT, Gemini, I believe they call them gems, Claude, agents. Nope, no custom GPTs yet. Amazing. Audra, I would love to hear what your custom GPT does for you. If you want to unmute yourself. Audra, I hope I didn't butcher your name.
No, I'm just trying to get on video so I can talk to you and you can see who I am while I speak. Yeah, so my custom GPT, I have a few different scripts running. So I have it running to do a few different things, to look for different types of investors. So for this project specifically that I'm on this call for, and then also I have my other business as well, to also look for different scripting opportunities for my different scripts that I do for my for just some of my clients and stuff. So I have it doing.
Very good. You're ahead of the game, Audra. Congratulations. Thank you for
So
sharing.
It's doing my first, second. I do my basic scripts and then I modify it, of course. So it's not just straight. I just don't resell, but yeah. So I do that.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. I know Salvador also. And what was the name of your business, Audra, while we have you on the line?
My business is Audra Bauer Technical Consulting.
Excellent. Yeah, drop the link in the chat if you haven't already, so we
Of
can
course,
check you out.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Yes, I'll put that in right now.
Amazing. Salvador, you're up next. I saw that you mentioned you have built apps, you have your custom GPT. Share with us, what are you using it for? We want to know the different use cases. Oh, you're muted still. Salvador, you're muted. Let me try to unmute you. Okay.
Sorry about that. Yes. So my background is a little different. I am an engineer, so I write software, and so I've written apps within the legal tech space. And the biggest, I think, is it's a due diligence process for companies and individuals. Also built a legal assistant, actually. So with a team, not by myself. So I'm very in tune with AI and currently using it to grow my company as well.
Excellent. Very good. I love to hear that because, yeah, you can definitely build custom agents within your ChatGPT that are trained on your deck, your SOPs, your standard operation processes, and also the different deals that you are working with and offering to clients.
Correct.
And a lot of people, number one, don't upgrade to that portion, right? That allows you to unlock those features, which is only $20 a month. But it is truly one of the most powerful investments that you can make because it allows you to not only create different projects, but to create these custom agents that you can also share with your team. So if you have an intern, if you have a virtual assistant, or an admin, you can share this custom GPT that's trained with all of your company's information and deal flow to, personalize outreach to potential clients, based on the data that you're feeding it. So it's really used for generating those investor graded memos, and updating the email communication so it's staying relevant with the deals that you're working on currently. And then, of course, you can take it to the next level, which is automating the execution of these different tasks. Okay, we're not going to go into all of that during this session, but that's the difference between making the most out of this technology and also most of your time, because literally while you're asleep, this agent can prepare emails for you, draft them, and have them ready to execute when you wake up in the morning. So you're reviewing a draft and clicking send rather than going line by line to each one of your contacts. So you're nurturing these leads and responding to your clients a lot faster. Right? Speed is definitely going to be one of the differentiators in this digital world that we work with. You can literally lose a deal because you responded too late, and someone else snagged the opportunity. And the other thing is just when you're training new hires, right? If you have people on your team that you're training, you can use this custom GPT to now do some role playing with the new hire, right? Because it has all of the deal information and it can act as a potential client to train this new employee in your business. Okay. So I know, I heard Robert mention that he has a team. What was it, Roberto, of 3 or 5? 3. All right. So Roberto, you have a team of 3. Once you start integrating this technology, you're going to double your team, literally, right? For us, I know now you have to respond when people ask you how big is your team. I have 3 humans and 10 agents that are working in my company, because that is the world that we're living in. You're assigning these different agents roles that they can execute on. Okay. The following tools are more, introductory tools that some folks forget to really include in their day-to-day, but they definitely make a huge impact, and one of them is a note-taking application that you plug in. So you're focused on the client's responses and not worrying about writing every single thing that the client is sharing. You can also plug in your note taker to your company brain or company headquarter if you're utilizing Notion or another place to house all of your company's information. So this company headquarter is learning from all of these client conversations and also tailoring the approach and the data, pages that you're creating for these clients. It's going to pull your tasks from the notes. So again, you're not writing them down as you're speaking. And also you'll be able to search within the transcript. So it's much easier to pull, any conversations that you had that, you want to refer to for your team. Firefly does have a free tier. I'm very big on freemium products because they exist and they allow you to utilize them, to maximum capacity before you upgrade as well. So I wanted to share a brief use case. One of the entrepreneurs that we worked with that we supported with just leveraging the different technology to power up their tech stack. Maya was her name. And Maya was looking to raise funding for her tech startup. So one of the things that, she was working on, because it was just her and her co-founder, was definitely leveling up the presentation as she was pitching to these different venture capitalists and going through more of these presentations being more strategic. So we supported her with just really making interactive presentations with these VCs. So as soon as she jumped on the call, they were extremely impressed by the presentation, but she was able to get straight to the point because she saw the VC specific last checks written, and also what they were prioritizing and investing in. So being able to do that homework a lot faster than, doing hours and hours of research on each potential investor that she met with. So, again, these things really allow you to get through more conversations, have a more educated approach when you're meeting with investors, and closing on deals in a much faster way. So how does this all work together? Because you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, these are different things. They all do different, they all execute on different aspects of the business. But you're able to connect them all to communicate with each other with either, coding, if you're comfortable with it. A lot of you said that you use Claude and ChatGPT. There is a coding aspect of these LLMs that you can engage with natural language. You don't have to be a coder to integrate them. Another tool that is more non-code friendly is a tool like Zapier, where you can take your Notion brain, right, where all of your company's information lives. You can connect it with Clay, where your investor lists are built through Zapier. And you can also connect your ChatGPT, so your custom GPTs, so they're all communicating with each other. Atio is another tool that also has the power to be connected with these tools. So if you're running your list through Clay of investors and now you start speaking to these investors, you can update these notes in your CRM. Okay. The CRM that we always recommend is Atio because it has the power to, again, pull information from existing clients and have a more enriched approach to communicating with clients. So you're able to stay up to date with all of their contact information and automate workflows to keep nurturing those leads. And then again, connecting with your notes. So all of that information is intertwined. And when you're asking your agent for updated information, it has access to meeting notes. It has access to, conversations that you've had through your CRM. So it has a holistic view of where we are with this client. Where in the funnel are we to closing the client and to getting that investment? I know we would love to be in a position where we're dealing with so many of them that it's hard to keep track of where in the funnel we are, but the reality is, and I always tell entrepreneurs, you want to position your business to be prepared to scale. Okay. Unless you're of the mentality that you only want to work with one or two people within your business, you want to always start off with a solid foundation that when opportunities knock, you're ready to deliver because you've already put together systems in place to handle the volume. So this is one of the things that we're really big on recommending with entrepreneurs. So hours of hours saved, you're going from manual work, Googling investors, writing emails, right? And doing your research on each investor before you're writing that email. You're going from, typing notes into your CRM to now having processes in place that are automatically summarizing the meeting, automatically summarizing the next steps and assigning it to your team or putting it on your calendar so you can execute on it. Automatically capturing all of the investors' LinkedIn, email addresses, where are they working, what was the last check that they signed? So you have a more educated conversation when you're speaking to these investors. And you're just focusing on what's going to move the needle forward to close that deal. Amazing. So what I wanted to gift everyone today is number one, the 2026 AI toolkit that we created that has the opportunity for you to navigate, additional, and I'll share the link with you all in the chat. So you can download that. And I'll also show you what is included. So yeah, in the AI tech stack that we shared with you all, it allows you to, it has all of the different applications and connections that you can navigate. Let me just pull that up for you real quick. Where do we have this? right here. So it has all of the different opportunities on based and lined up with categories, right? So we're talking about LLMs, we're talking about productivity workflows and how to automate these processes. So you can navigate these different applications and also dig deeper into how they will make an impact on your business, and how you can put together your workflow so it's executing while you sleep. So we broke it down into different areas: marketing, go-to-market strategy. We did touch upon some of these different tools, and also customer support and automation, because that's one of the big pain points as well for entrepreneurs. So I dropped the link in the chat, so you all can, download that free guide for you. And yeah, reach out to me if you have any, follow-up questions. I did mention that we have our AI for Entrepreneurs Accelerator that is starting May 4th. And what this is a 4-week, 30-day accelerator to take entrepreneurs from 0 to 100. It is a very hands-on program where we're meeting live on Tuesdays, and we're identifying one of your pain points that can be automated, and we're working the next 4 weeks to automate an entire workflow. So it is hands-on. It is in a community setting, so you're working with 30 other entrepreneurs. So we're building community, we're tackling these tasks hands-on, and we're executing to ensure that you are upskilling and definitely upgrading your technology stack. So Mr. Hyro nicely requested that we, offer you all a discount on the course. So Sparks VIP 2026 is a code that you can use. And again, if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to me. We're going to be hosting Ask Me Anything on Instagram Live next week. So definitely stay tuned, to ask any questions live, or you can reach out to us to have a conversation. But we'd love to open it up to questions. I wanted to make sure today's presentation was very tactical with demos and, solving real pain points that prevent us from moving a client from a lead to signing that check, transferring those funds. Essentially, that's what we're looking to do.
That's right. That's right. Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. Fantastic gems. I don't see anything in the chat yet, but my question, I guess, there is a question. Where can we access the recordings after the sessions? The audio fades in and out. I could barely hear most of this, and I have volume at 100. Are you guys having audio issues? I'm not having. No?
Yeah, I have since off and on since the beginning. It's been very, it's fading in and out. Like I hear little bits of it, a little bit better than others.
Not sure.
I have everything at 100%, so I don't know what's.
Yeah, I'm only giving the recording to VIP, but we could chat offline. We'll see what we can do about that. So,
Huh?
I'm only giving the recording to VIP to a couple of folks that have paid, but I'll see what I can do, what I can share with you.
Okay. All right. Please. Thank you.
All good. Yeah. Is there a free tool? Is the free tool only accessible for 7 days? Al's asking.
No, and I'll drop it again, our link tree, so you can access the 2026 tool guide, AI tool guide for entrepreneurs. So yeah, you can download it and it's available to you, to use at your discretion. And the promo code for the AI for Entrepreneurs Accelerator is only available for 7 days because we are starting Monday, May 4th. So we want to make sure that the cohort is closed and that we go live all, on the same page. The first live session is on Tuesday, so it's going to be really exciting. We've hosted these accelerators white labeled under other organizations. And so we're now hosting it with under Sparks. And yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges with this technology is like, you're sitting through webinars and they throw all this information at you, but it's like, okay, I need support with actually implementing, right? We need to sit down and discuss your business strategy and what is your lead, what is your customer process and experience when someone requests information or reaches out to you through DM. What is that experience and what part of it requires you to handle personally or a teammate, and what part can be automated so the lead doesn't go and responsive, right? Because that unfortunately is one of the biggest ways to lose a client, the delay on response and acknowledging the request. So we want to have those conversations and support our clients with working with that entire workflow.
Love it. What's the, let's say someone's overwhelmed or very novice to AI. What's the first thing they should do?
That's a great question. Most people will say like, "Oh, download ChatGPT." But from my experience, and I've worked with, hundreds of entrepreneurs and also students because I teach the content in the university level. I would say that the first thing that you want to do is identify what is the problem that you want to solve, right? For me personally, one of the pain points that I had, because I'm a mother of 2 teenagers, I have my business, I teach, I have multiple priorities. I also volunteer. One of the pain points I wanted to solve was managing my schedule. It was an absolute nightmare to manage 5 different calendars, the kids' sports, this, the family, you know. And so I started investigating how can I automate managing my time and make the most use of my time. And then just started, identifying how to solve that pain point. I'm very big on solving a real use case utilizing the technology for a real problem, not just for fun or for show. And so I always recommend whatever large language model that you're using. If you're on ChatGPT, or if you're not even ready to do that, you can simply search on the internet, how can I solve XYZ using AI? And you'll see a bunch of recommendations, a bunch of resources that you can start learning about. And getting that first win is really exciting because you're like, oh, this thing can actually help me in some way. And then you can start going down the rabbit hole of learning more. And then my other recommendation is just, learning community. There's a ton of different opportunities for you to engage with other people that are using the technology. Don't try to do it on your own. You can always tap into others, and people are more than happy to support and guide you in the right direction. But thank you so much for the opportunity today. This was so exciting. I was on earlier and heard a bunch of the different presentations. The panel was so lit. So I really appreciate you taking the time to curate this experience, Dr. Borja.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Give Randy a round of applause, fire, some emoji, something.
A little bot.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. Love it. Love it. Good, good, good.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, let's connect on LinkedIn. And
Drop
feel
your
free to
LinkedIn
reach out with
and
any question.
yep, that was
Yeah,
my next.
I'll drop my LinkedIn page right now.
Awesome. All right. All right. Who's who's ready to raise? Give me a little fire or give me something. Give me a reaction. Who's ready to make some money? Who's ready to make some money or raise money? Who's ready for that? Let's see. Johanna, one person. So Serena, all right. I suck. Love it. Good, good, good. There you go. I love it. I love it. Good, good. All right. So I hope we enjoyed so far the summit up to this point. So I have a short presentation, and I actually have an implementation exercise where you're going to be using your cell phones. So and then once we wrap up, we'll debrief, and then we'll jump into short intermission, grab some lunch, and then from there, I have a couple of final exercises to wrap up the day. Right, awesome. All right, good, good. So let's. I'm gonna share my screen, and for those who've came to the summit in February, some of it may be similar, and if not, it's all good, man. Even if you was here in February, it doesn't matter because some of the stuff is still relevant today, right, Bilal? Awesome. Good, good, good. Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna continue sharing my screen. I am using PowerPoint, Randy. Don't worry, don't kill me. All right. So thank you so much for being here today. So for those who don't know me, right, a little bit about me. I'm more on the real estate side, but although the concepts that I teach today could work for any asset class, and I look forward to connecting with a lot of you guys, I'll my VA Reggie Ann will drop quick link, quick assessment to kind of do towards the end. And I think it'll be fantastic to meet with a lot of you, right? I already have about 10 meetings set up post the summit from folks wanting to connect today, right? So, hey, if you wanna just by osmosis make money, I think you should definitely connect with me, right? See, as more people coming in. All right, so that's a little bit about me. I have a podcast, two-time best-selling author, DBA from Walden. I attended 22 WrestleManias, one last week, and I've been to Las Vegas 15 times, right? Can you tell it's my favorite city? Awesome. So today is not about, yes, it's about information, but it's hopefully being able to make powerful decisions, right? Everyone here is at different stages when it comes to raising money or accessing money. For some individuals, it's just a little bit unique to kind of take you to that next level. For others, they're in the beginning. For folks like me, more seasoned investors, right? So everything that I've planned together or that I put together is up to this point, right? Randy gave you some fantastic tools that you could leverage AI when it comes to finding your ideal investors, right? And also when it comes to putting together pitch decks, right? In my program, I don't get into like the tool itself, but I get into the content of the pitch deck, which is just as important, right? So that's what I discuss when it comes to that, right? All right. So now we're gonna start working. So most people here, right, plus the ones that left earlier and the ones that are watching live on LinkedIn, we are live, by the way, on Redstream. So most people here don't have a capital problem. They have a clarity problem, right? So capital follows organization, positioning, and confidence, right? So you may like Boyd's case, you may have that one person that may be rich, right? Could be a one-time opportunity, right? But if you have the right systems and processes, and everything in place, you'll have it almost on repeat, right? So that's what I'm hoping to teach you today, not just leading to lunch, not just leading to the first exercise, but post lunch as well, as I hope to help you walk that bridge, right? So again, it's about organization, positioning, confidence, and not hustle, right? So if you're a serious entrepreneur, you're raising money regardless, right? So if you're a smart entrepreneur, however, you're building systems to raise it consistently, right? A la what Randy was talking about earlier. That's why I had her speak before me. So the more I thought about it, I was ping-ponging, who should go before me, right? So it kind of everything leads up to now, right? So, Sandra spoke about positioning yourself as, from a marketing standpoint. Then the panel kind of gave you some options when it comes to bootstrapping, right? Or when it comes to accessing money. Then Robert spoke about his angle when it comes to not dealing with tenants, toilets, trash, right? And being able to think or be the bank. And then Randy spoke about the tools, and hopefully I'm going to put it all together now, right? So that's the goal now, right? So capital raising isn't luck. It's a skill. It's like a muscle, and it's a process, and it's also positioning over and over and over again, right? So we're going to be discussing that momentarily, right? So put it in chat, right? Whether it could be real estate, it could be business. Have you ever lost a deal not because of the numbers, right? But specifically because you couldn't raise the capital on time? Let's see what you guys has that ever happened to any of you guys? I'm gonna say me. Yeah, me for sure. Anybody? Anybody? Yes. Yeah, of course. Yes. 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 Yes, Nova. Yes. Anybody else? You're short 3,000 for. All right, good. Hopefully, Robert, today's exercise will help you out using AI, using me. Excellent. Good, good. Awesome. Good. You're right. Right. So yeah, exactly. So we've all been there. We've all been there. We've all been there, right? So we all have been there. So most people have tried friends and family, maybe some cold DMs, some random networking, some social media blast, right? So why does they do work, but why don't they work most of the time? Because they're not systems. They're just scattered tactics, right? They're just, things that by serendipity may work here and there, right? So the broken belief number one that I want to tell you guys is you need rich friends or a big following. It does help, but you know what? That's false. You just need a system, not status, right? Just something to think about, right? You'd be surprised how many people have money sitting in a 401k that's untapped, unused, and I'll talk about that later, right? Broken belief two, if I pitch harder, I'll raise faster. If I use all these tools that Randy gave me, I'll pitch faster. No, that's not the case, right? It's all about positioning yourself and using all the tactics that Sandra spoke about earlier in regards to visibility, creating that credibility, and that credibility creating that profitability, right? If you put all those together, then that's how you raise, right? The third belief is networking shows up everywhere. Yeah, that was my mistake when I first entered the workforce. I was networking, showing up everywhere, signing up for every networking event known to man. But the reality is, you want to be able to understand who your ideal investor is, who your ideal avatar is, right? And then from there, signing up for those events where those ideal investors is at, where those dinners are at, right? So at the end, random presence is strategic proximity, right? So you have to be careful with that. So what you actually lead is exactly what Sandra spoke about, building that credibility, right? For those that came earlier, I played a video to kind of start the summit with past participants that have worked with me in some way, shape, or form, and I'll play a similar video later on, right? So it's all about building that credibility and that social proof, right? So actually, Randy's video that she sent to me, we used it as our marketing for today, right? So later on, I'm going to talk about having that clear capital story, right? And yes, it's no doubt you need great credit, right? 640, 650 and above, no doubt. No doubt you need 3 months of positive banks, no doubt about that, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about being able to have the right story, right? And the story behind the deal, right? It's very, very important, right? So Carol, not Carol. Someone else spoke about, you don't need credit. Yes, it helps when it comes to bootstrapping, but when it comes to that next level, right, it's all about relationships, and that's why it's on its slide, right? And it's all about having repeatable systems to connect with that right friend that has $22 million in the bank, as spoken about earlier. That's what you need, right? So I'm going to get into the 5C capital confidence framework that I kind of came up with. Different 5Cs than you, Robert. different 5Cs, right? But it kind of all kind of connects, right? And then we're going to come up with then I have a little interactive exercise to close the first half, right? So it's all about connecting, clarifying, converting, closing, and cloning, right? So connecting is all about where capital flows. So being in the right rooms, you guys invested your time here is fantastic. You guys could be on Netflix watching something, right, that is not non-productive, but you guys are here, invested your time and energy, and which I think you could 10x your money, honestly, right? Clarifying. We'll talk about later crafting your investor story, right? It's important, right, to know the story or the art behind a deal, right? We'll get into that later. Converting those conversations into commitments, right? So, I hope today you guys learn a lot of this information, and hopefully most of you guys, take action and connect with me in some capacity, right? As you see, more people are coming back, right? So it's all about converting, and then closing is about confidently finalizing those deals, right? I teach, look, if you ask the right questions, right, on the discovery call, talking sales 101 now, and if you're talking to the right decision maker, you should have little to no resistance on the closing side, right? You should have little to no objections, right? But some people don't understand that. And then cloning that process over and over again and leveraging the tools that Randy spoke about, along with the systems in place, your goal, right? And I talk about that. So think about 90 days from now. Put it in the chat. What would that do, right? If you had the right investor networks, if you had the right compelling capital story, if you had the right capital on demand, if you had the right system that does the work for you, what does that do for you? What would that do for you? What would that do for you, Randy? What would that sell? Type in the chat. Maida, I know she's kind of the owner of Barefoot Bride. I won't pick on her, but what would that do for you? What would that do for you? Let's see. What would that do for you? Kadi, what would that do for you? Imagine 3 months from now, you have the perfect system, the right networks, the right story, the right capital, the right system. Imagine, what would that do for you 3 months from now? Create an opportunity, create my manufacturing company. Good. Elevate my income, my business. I love it. Game changer. Yeah, absolutely, right? So the decisions you make today kind of impact, 30, 60, 90, or even years from now. I'll give you an example. Like this year has been, has been rough up and down, right? It's fluctuated, right? But the decisions that I made a few years ago have been able to help me self-sustain now, right? So let's see what other folks are mentioned. Let's see. Game changer. Thank you, Randy. Fully built out, provided space for global community. Yes, endless results, strong. Absolutely. So awesome. Good. So that's what I talk about in my program, right? And I'll talk about it later, but it's basically a 12 weeks, right? And Bilal is not in it, but I had others that are in it, right? We have group coaching. We have the opportunity for lessons. We have the opportunities to learn about pitch decks, ideal avatars, scripts, systems, and you'll be able to learn to raise smarter and close faster, right? So that's what my program is about, but more to come on that, right? All right. So the space between where you are and where you could be, right? That's where we're at right now, right? So right now you're over here. I'm talking far away, right? And I'm going to help you walk that bridge. By the end of the summit, most of you will have an idea as far as where you need to go. Some will take action. Some will just think you're too cool for school and YouTube University, and others will take that massive action and say, you know what, Dr. B, you're the guy. I need you to help me walk that bridge and raise that first 100K, 200K, 500K, $1 million, right? So which one are you, right? So we'll see what happens at 3 o'clock. So let's talk about your current state